The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today. We're also brought to you by Bird Dogs Shorts, the world's greatest shorts who can you up with a free Yeti-style tumbler when you order over at birddogs.com/pool. That's birddogs.com/pool. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne, up in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, the 12th of June, and we've got a full slate of action for MLB for Tuesday, June the 13th. Three-man go tonight, exciting times. First up, Mr. Munaf Manji. Munaf, what's happening?
Nothing much. Another week started with brand new baseball. Some intriguing series that we do have to start the week here, but officially welcome you back after your holiday. Hope you had a good one, Mal. But yeah, let's get it rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I was considering whether or not you were avoiding me, Munaf. I haven't spoken to you since I returned. Is this intentional?
Oh, no, that's just how the scheduling worked out. I know you missed me.
And one more question. I saw you tweeting this morning that the baby was kicking your ass again. Is this correct?
Oh, yeah. You know the newborn phase, how that goes. But he's officially a month old on Friday. It's crazy. Time is already flying. But yeah.
Oh, man. Congrats.
Baby one, parent zero.
Well done. And finally, I get to do a show with our third member of the team tonight because we've been like ships in the night since he joined the show. It is Delonte Smith. Lonte, how you doing, man? Welcome.
Yeah, man, doing good. Looking forward to doing the show with both of you guys. I know this is our first time, but hopefully you don't set the expectations too high because I'll probably disappoint you. So let's just set the bar real low and work our way.
Well, yeah, I already warned you that you. Oh, well, sorry, Munaf warned you that you might understand about 80% of what I say at a push. I feel like the people in the comments are kind of up to speed now, so we need to start you off at an entry level. So if anything I might say, if the comment section can provide a glossary, that would be great. The comment section is live and kicking already. DVJ was in again. 2 nights running, he's been first in. Case and Zane, who else we got? Randy, David is in there as well. Svi, Bill's Mafia, Degen, Serial. Serial's arrived as well. So good evening, everyone.
Captain's been slacking, huh?
Captain's been slacking. Captain Insano, the big news, Munaf, this week is that I am taking on Captain Insano in the D-Gens Baseball League, in the Fantasy League. So it's on, yeah. He's running scared is what he's doing. He's under the sofa. I've been in bad form, actually. I was top of the league and smelling myself about 3 weeks ago. And now I've kind of found my way down to 5th. So I need to give Captain Insano a little bit of stick this week. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be here. And I took the unprecedented move of adding Zach Greinke to my team this week, Munaf. How you feel about that?
Hey, if he's pitching at home, I can't argue against it.
Well, it was 2 starts, and at least one, I think it was some shit like Colorado and Cincinnati and Colorado or something. So I took a bit of a gamble. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. No day sport today, so we've got nothing in play to talk about. We'll crack straight on with the first game on Tuesday, which is a 6:40 Eastern first pitch. I think we've got 4 games off the board at the moment for various reasons. We've got a couple of TBD pitches. I've seen pitches on this all day. I don't know why this is off the board. It's the Atlanta Braves at the Detroit Tigers, where Spencer Strider starts for Atlanta, and what's his first name? I've never heard of this kid. Reese Olson draws the start for the Detroit Tigers. No lines, as I say, all day. Not entirely sure why. Lonte, have you seen any lines on this? Or if not, can you tell us what you make of it anyway?
Nah, I don't. I don't see any lines. I'm not sure why. I mean, both pitchers are listed. I have no idea why. But I'm going to lean with Atlanta, to be honest with you. Detroit has been a dumpster fire as of late. Lost 9 of the last 10. Pretty much a complete bet against team for me. They only scored 2 runs or less. They've scored 2 runs or less in 3 of the last 5 games. 22 and 35 as an underdog. Atlanta, they won 8 of the last 10, 20-10 on the road. Strider got roughed up in his last outing. So he hasn't been as sharp on the road. He's allowed 4+ in 2 of his 4 games, his last 4 road outings. But I think he gets revenge here from that last outing against the Mets. I think it wasn't supposed to be a slugfest, but it looked like a home run derby out there instead of what we thought. So I would maybe look at a Strider K prop and a Detroit team total under, but I'm on Atlanta all the way. I mean, obviously the line it'll be probably north of 200, so don't want to do that. But the run line and some Detroit team total unders is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, Munaf, this was quite a tricky game to start the card with, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that we talk about get right spots for teams or in particular pitchers. I think this might be the spot here for Strider to kind of get right. I know Captain Sano's putting his stats in for the last 5 games for Spencer Strider, but we take a look at some of the offensive numbers for the Detroit Tigers. I mean, they have just been atrocious to say the least. I know they've been dealing with a lot of injuries over the past, let's just say a month or so, but I think this might be a spot for Strider, despite pitching on the road, that he can get right against an offense who hasn't been able to score very many runs. So I know Reese Olson has been off to a great start as well, but he's going up against one of the better offenses in the league in Atlanta, and Atlanta has been putting up runs, or at least over the last 10 games, and the games what Lonte mentioned, they've won 8 out of the last 10 games, and they've been able to put up runs in those spots. So I agree with Lonte. It'll be Atlanta all the way here for me as well.
Yeah, it's impossible to get away from Atlanta. The fact that Strider did get hit around last time makes me even more confident that he'll do okay. Detroit, 9 in a row they've lost. They've scored 19 runs in those last 9 games. That is not going to do it for you, unfortunately. If you're looking for an Atlanta prop, Marcelo Ozuna's going all right. He's got an 8-game hit streak. I actually quite like the under here. Obviously, that's difficult to say because I haven't seen a line on it. But I just thought Orlando would have to score all the runs. So if it was somewhere near maybe 8.5, if you find it 8.5, I'd be happy to take underneath that because I don't think Detroit are going to contribute at all. And Reese Olson's gone along okay. He hasn't been shelled in any of his starts, so this could easily finish sort of 5 or 6-0 to Atlanta, something along those lines. Next up is the 7:05 Eastern first pitch between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. Chris Bassett takes the ball for Toronto, and Dean Kramer goes for Baltimore. We have lines. Oh, we don't have lines again. This is a bad start. Same question, Munaf. Where are the lines? Because this has been up all day. And what did you think of it?
Yeah, but I know the website at least that I use that kind of go off of the pitching stats still doesn't have a pitcher listed for the Baltimore Orioles. But I ain't seeing Dean Kramer is going to get a start here for the Baltimore Orioles. But yeah, no lines yet for the first 2 games at least. But I could kind of just go through the pitches here. Chris Bassett looks like he's going to get the start here for the Toronto Blue Jays, coming off a really solid starting against Houston Astros. 8 innings pitched, only allowed 4 hits in that game, 2 earned runs. Very, very efficient in that game. He only had 81 pitches in that game in 8 innings, like I mentioned. And back-to-back starts, he's gone at least 7+ innings for the Toronto Blue Jays. Last 2 games combined, 15 2/3 innings pitched, only allowed 2 earned runs, 7 hits total in that span. He has struggled on the road here, guys. He is 4-3 with a 4.43 ERA. You are going into Camden Yards. I know they made the adjustments in the outfield where it's not much of a hitter's ballpark anymore. But I think that for me, I would probably lean here with the Baltimore Orioles as the home team here. Kind of just looking at Dean Kramer's numbers here. 6-3 with a 4.89 ERA at home, 3-1 with a 4.91 ERA. So against AL East teams, he is 2-0, but the ERA is a little inflated at 5.04. We could see some runs in this game. He did face the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto back on May 21st, where he did go 5 1/3 innings pitch, only allowed 1 earned run in that span and 9 hits, had 7 strikeouts, and the Baltimore Orioles did win that game 8-3. So I lean with the Orioles here. I think that one thing that gives me more confidence is about fading Chris Bassett when he is on the road. When he's at home, he's been fantastic. So him being on road in Baltimore, I'll lean with Baltimore here.
I came down the other side, Moon. I've said for a little while that I've got quite a few of the Baltimore pitching staff lined up for some regression, and Dean Kramer is kind of at the head of the queue here. I've got him vulnerable. I watched the Blue Jays game last night, and they often have put some weird batting numbers up because they're really high up in just about every category. But with runners in scoring position is poor, and therefore the number of runs they've scored is right down there. But everything else tells you that they should be up there. So that's got to correct at some point. Aaron Hicks, who we used to laugh at a little bit, is a New York Yankee, has joined Baltimore, has now reached safely in all 10 games that he's played, which is a bit of a funny outcome there. But yeah, it was difficult, but I've got to keep fading Kramer. Bassett, I know what you mean. He is a little bit less reliable on the road, but I'll take the Blue Jays in this spot. Lonte, we've got one for the Orioles, one for the Blue Jays. So can you split the tie for us?
Yeah, man. Sadly, I'm going to be on the side of Munaf. I like Baltimore here. My perspective, I think Baltimore is pretty much undervalued commodity, and I do understand the regression numbers because I mean that is a big factor, especially when teams are playing above their head, so far above their head they have to come back down or at least level off. So that could be an issue, but I mean hopefully it's not in this matchup because I like the Orioles a lot. Like Munaf mentioned, they swept Toronto mid-May in Toronto, outscored them 20 to 10 in the process. Kramer, I mean, he's been solid this year, and he got rocked by Milwaukee, so I think he'll bounce back tomorrow night. He's also one of the more profitable pitchers in the first five. So if you like Baltimore, might want to look at the first five. He's allowed 2 or less in 4 of his last 7 games, including only allowed one earned run on May 21st, like I've mentioned. Yeah, man, I think Toronto, like I got a lot of futures on Toronto. I think they're similar to what San Diego is, loaded with talent, just inconsistent. They're 1 game over 500 on the road, so it's not horrible, but Baltimore is 20-12 at home. I think they're just a better team right now. Maybe Toronto will get there later on with some of that regression, but right now I'm leaning to the home underdog. And I see on Bet Online they have minus 120 plus 110 for the line. So I would definitely take the plus money for the home dog.
Yeah, some of the stats that Cason's just pointed out in the comment section about Chris Bassett, 3 day starts, 0-2 with a 14.59 ERA. So that's certainly backed up Lonte and Munaf's handicap. In that one, 7:10 Eastern first pitch, the New York Yankees at the New York Mets. Luis Severino takes the ball for the Yankees, and Mad Max Scherzer will go for the Mets. We have lines of plus 120 on the Yankees, minus 140 on the Mets, with a total of 7.5. Severino earned 1 on the year, 5.75 ERA. He started 4 games now since his delayed start of the season. First 2 went okay, second 2 didn't. So at this point, I don't really know what to expect from him. The jury's still out. Max Scherzer was hit around by the Braves last time. I think that was in the same game as Spencer Strider, I think, that we just talked about. But the Braves own the Mets. We know this. So his 4 starts before that were really good. And in his 3 home starts, he is 2-0 on the year with a 0.5 ERA. The Mets are better at home. I've got a little pop quiz for either of you two here. 66 games now the Mets have played. How many first inning runs have they scored?
I'd say
3.
I'd say 4.
Ooh, yeah, both. It's not that bad. 14 is the answer. But that's a preposterously low number. Yeah, you spotted there was something in there, but yeah, 14. So don't expect it. There was a reason why I was asking Munaf. But yeah, it wasn't 3 or 4. But 14 is not a very high number. They are better at home, and it's not a fancy price. I'm not proud of myself, but I'll take the Mets here at minus 140. Lonte, what did you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't trust either team right now as they're currently formed. Judge does. I mean, as a Yankee fan, I've seen what Judge does to that lineup. How those guys are more confident when he's in the lineup. You can't pitch. You can't throw certain pitches to Volpe and some of those guys when Aaron Judge is in the lineup. But now that he's not, I mean, they're a different team without him in the lineup. Now, Sevy's been a little bit, up and down. Jury's still, like you said. But I think Max shows up and has a big night. I mean, you mentioned it. He's been nails at home, 1 earned run or fewer in all 5 of his home starts. 3 of those, he had 0 earned runs. Yankees offense is struggling. 3 runs or fewer in the last 4 games. We saw them against Boston, couldn't get it going. Even when Cole pitched, they just couldn't get it going offensively. So, I mean, I don't love it, but I'm leaning with you on the Mets side.
Munaf, team ride on the Mets?
Yeah, I actually do like the Mets here. This is going to be Max Scherzer's 4th start at home this season, and he's been really good at Citi Field for the New York Mets. He's 2-0 with a 0.5 ERA. 18 innings pitched. He's only allowed 1 earned run in that span, and the rest of his starts actually have come on the road, where he has a 5.35 ERA. You guys talked about Aaron Judge not being in this lineup, and I know some of the guys are pointing it out in the chat as well. TV DBJ's mentioning it, and it's obviously it's correlated when you don't have the MVP in your lineup. They're averaging 3.33 runs per game without Aaron Judge this season. They're batting 209, 268 on base percentage, 373 slugging percentage, 641 OPS. So it's just not very good for the New York Yankees. And I trust Max Scherzer more at home. I'm going to back the Mets here. I'm with you. It's a minus 140 price. I wish it was a little bit cheaper, but I'm going to take the Mets. Seems like you also got to like the under in this game as well. It's at 7.5. Maybe it gets pushed up to 8 by the time we get to the afternoon. But I would lean towards the under, but definitely do like the Mets in the spot.
Insane to add in that the Yankees have picked up Luke Voigt today as well, which I hadn't noticed. But yeah, another beef boy into their lineup. We move on. I'll tell you about Edge Boost, the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card. We've covered some great markets. Especially on the Futures Friday show, the Edge Boost would be absolutely perfect to employ if you don't want to tie your money up. Edge currently offering up to $2,500 in betting advances, which can be a great tool for something just like that. Increase your bankroll, double down on a favourite, or like I say, use a future. We did MVPs on Friday. Great place to start. Edge Boost charge 0 interest as well and can very much be part of a responsible gambling plan. You can set up daily, weekly, monthly limits across all of your betting accounts in one place. Support SGPN and grow your bankroll by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 years or older to use. Problem gambler, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, down the board, we will head to 7:10 Eastern first pitch between the Colorado Rockies and the Boston Red Sox. Chase Anderson for the Rockies and Cutter Crawford will go for the Red Sox. Plus 190 on Colorado, minus 222 on Boston with a total of 10. Chase Anderson 0-0 on the year with a 2.25 ERA. He's gone from the bullpen into quite an effective starter. He started 5 games now with a 2.67 ERA. He has given up multi-home runs in his last 2. So if you want to find a Red Sox that you like to hit one out, that might be an option. Colorado had that weird game last night. I think we finished the show last night, me and Dylan, and that game was tied in the 9th inning. And I went to put it on the telly, and there was a rain delay for what seemed like forever. And they came out and Nolan Jones hit a home run 900 foot to walk it off. Absolutely smashed the granny out of it. Cutter Crawford, similar to Anderson, bullpen into more of an opener role, I would say, than sort of a starter. The Red Sox have lost on both the occasions that he has opened for them. And I don't see why at these prices, this feels like the game we handicapped last night. It was Ponce against James Paxton. The MLB Discord channel today has been full of examples of people like Paxton, who no way should be. Paxton was minus 260 tonight for Monday's game. Crawford's minus 222 here. Who's backing Cutter Crawford at minus 222? It shouldn't be allowed money. You have to take, Boston might win. You have to take Colorado. I've given myself no choice here. Colorado plus 190, Munaf.
Yeah, I can see where the value is here on the Colorado Rockies, but you also are concerned that they're missing 2 big bats in their lineup as well, with guys on injury, with Chris Bryant and Charlie Blackmon, who also just got put up on the IL because of a broken hand. I think he'll be out about 4 to 8 weeks for the Rockies. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Even like on Monday night, I'm not laying a minus $2 price on James Paxton and a $2 price on Cutter Crawford as well, where the Red Sox have lost 4 of his last 5 starts, and exactly what Captain Sano mentioned, that he has been very good at night, 0-3 with a 5.85 ERA, where Chase Anderson has been surprisingly going very well for the Colorado Rockies. So I think it's going to come down to the point where who's going to step up for the offense for the Colorado Rockies. But I think all the value right now stands with the Rockies, whether if you want to take that on the +1.5 at even money, or just take them on the money line as well at +195. So I can't argue against it.
Lonte, how did you feel about this one?
Yeah, I feel indifferent about the side. I can make cases for both sides. What I do like is I like the over. I think both teams have been playing to the under as of late. Seven of the last 10 for both have went under, but 66 of Boston's home games have been over. So they're over team at home. I think the bats are going to be fine at home. And is it odd to me that these teams haven't played each other since 2019? Is that odd?
I think they wrote, no, every 4 years. It makes sense.
4 years? Is that? Yeah. Okay.
Well, now because they're playing, every team plays each other. Every team plays against every team now with the new scheduling change this year.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I forgot about the scheduling change, but yeah, man, I like the over. Like you said, I'm not going to be laying any type of juice with Boston, just not as they're currently constructed. And if you hit it on the head, the reason why I don't want to, put a half unit or anything on Colorado is because they're missing those 2 key bats in their lineup. And outside of that, I mean, just 2 teams I just don't trust right now. With that being said, I like the over. I think both teams will come out and score some runs. You ran over the numbers for both pitchers, so I won't reiterate that. But I think that Chase Anderson is prone to give up home runs. I think you brought up a great point with that. So maybe look at some Devers, total bases or home run props. And I would maybe look for a Boston team total over. Thinking that Colorado, with those bats missing, maybe can't get the same juice flowing with their lineup. So maybe look at Boston team total over for a half unit and play a half unit on the full game over.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only other way to play this game. If you don't like Colorado, you're looking for Boston player props or over on the total. Lonte, you're absolutely right. 7:40 Eastern first pitch. The Milwaukee Brewers at the Minnesota Twins. Corbin Burns for the Brewers and Pablo Lopez for the Twins. On the books, it is a match, -110 each of 2. The total is at 7.5. Lonte, Brewers at Twins.
Yeah, man. So I'm leaning to Minnesota. I thought they looked good over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken, against the Astros, right? Didn't they have a series with the Astros this weekend?
Was it the
Blue Jays? Was it?
Blue Jays. I'm sorry, Blue Jays. Yeah, Blue Jays. They came back and won 2 of those games. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we'll get to that. We'll get to the Astros later on. Yeah. So, man, I mean, Burns been electric, and he was electric in his last outing. 8 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs. He has allowed 3+ in his last 2 road starts. Lopez is my only concern as to why I'm not full-fledged on the Minnesota side. He struggled as of late, especially at home. He's allowed 4+ in 4 of his last 5 home starts. So that kind of bothered me. And I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Under in 6 of the last 10 Milwaukee games, and 7 of the last 10 Minnesota games have been under. So I'm expecting a defensive game. Not a lot of people on base. Both teams top 12 in runs allowed and top 10 in hits allowed. So I expect a defensive type of game. Maybe a couple runners on, some stolen base can get us to maybe 2-3 or 2-1. I'm looking for that type of game. Milwaukee is 58% to the under on the season. Minnesota is 57% under on the season. And I mean, Milwaukee is pretty much the definition of mediocre. We saw what Oakland did to them this weekend. They're 500 in their last 10, 500 in away games, and 500 as a dog. I mean, that's the definition of mediocre right there. So I'm going to lean with the Twins. My stronger play is on the under. I don't think it's a lot of runs scored at all here tonight, fellas. Tomorrow night.
Munaf?
I talked a lot about Corbin Burns' numbers against American League teams in his career. Since 2020, 19 appearances, 11-2 with a 1.86 ERA. 6 of his 10 starts this season have been against American League teams. The only team that he did get into trouble against this year was the Houston Astros on their home field. But other than that, he's 4-1 with a 2.55 ERA, 34 strikeouts, and 6 appearances against American League teams this year. And he's, again, been against pretty good offense. Like I mentioned, the Astros, he faced the Angels, the Mariners, and this last start, which was back on June 7th against the Baltimore Orioles. 8 shutout innings. He only allowed 2 hits. So I don't trust Pablo Lopez here. I know the Brewers offense can be a little anemic at times, but I believe I have the better pitcher here on the mound with Corbin Burns. I look at the Brewers money line here, and I do love the play that Delonte mentioned about the under in this game. I think both these pitchers can go along very well. Lopez could probably give up a couple, but I do expect a big outing here from Corbin Burns. So I lean Brewers minus 105, and then also like the under as well.
I really struggled with this one. I didn't want to take the Brewers for all the reasons you've just outlined. I didn't want to take Lopez again for all the reasons you've just outlined. So that left me back at square one. I handicapped this afternoon before I'd seen any odds, and what I wrote down was I will take the team that are a bigger price because I didn't know where to go. The teams have both come out with minus 110, which is no use to me whatsoever. So at this point, I'm left with absolutely nothing. I don't know what to tell you. We'll move on. 7:45 Eastern first pitch is the San Francisco Giants at the St. Louis Cardinals. Alex Cobb goes for the Giants, and Jack Flaherty will go for St. Louis. Minus 115 on the Giants, plus 105 on the Cards, with a total of 8.5 for Munaf to lead us off on.
Yeah, Alex Cobb on the season, he is 5-2 with a 3.01 ERA. On the road is where the difference does come in here at 2-1 with a 4.62 ERA. But then in night starts, he's a perfect 4-0 with a 1.66 ERA. His last start was against the Colorado Rockies in Colorado. Did allow 4 earned runs. Again, I don't know how much we want to take away from starts in Colorado. He did have a rough outing against Milwaukee Brewers where he did allow 7 earned runs to the Brewers in that game. But other than that, he's been really solid so far this season for the San Francisco Giants. And Giants have been playing some really good baseball as of late. Jack Flaherty has found his form. I know he had one bad start where he did allow 10 earned runs. I believe that was against the Angels back on May 4th. But since then, he hasn't allowed more than, I'll say this. He's combined to go in 5 starts. Let's see here. His last 6 starts, he's allowed a total of 8 earned runs. The walks are concerned with Jack Flaherty. I don't know how he was able to escape it against the Texas Ranger in his last game. The Cardinals did win his last game 1-0, but if he's able to keep his walks down, I do trust Jack Flaherty. And it seems like he does have a longer leash than some of these pitchers on the St. Louis Cardinals, because if you take a look at the number of pitches that he's thrown 100 plus pitches in 5 straight starts for the St. Louis Cardinals. So if you're a prop better, maybe take a look at Jack Flaherty outs issued prop. I think that's a good way to look. But I think I do like the under in this game. I think both pitchers can go along very well here. It's at 8.5. I feel like that is a tad high. So I will lean with the Cardinals at home with Jack Flaherty, but I do love the under 8.5. And if you're able to find Jack Flaherty's outs issued, anything above 15.5 or 16.5, I think I would definitely take the over with that.
I lost you there, but I think you're back now. This game was very similar to the last one for me. I did make a pick, but I didn't want Alex Cobb, and I didn't want the St. Louis Cardinals. So again, left me stuck between a rock and a hard place. The Cards have lost 9 of the last 12. I've got a little hope here that Jack Flaherty can repeat his performance. If he deals like he did last time out, then my pick's going to be St. Louis on the first 5 here. Because, like I say, I just didn't want anything to do with Alex Cobb. So I don't trust the Cards particularly. But if Flaherty goes okay, they can have their noses in front after 5. So that'll be my pick. Lonte?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably the same way, man. I got no lean whatsoever. I don't trust either of these teams. I got PTSD still from San Francisco blowing lead after lead every time I bet on them. So I do agree that Flaherty has been good. I mean, he's Munaf went over his last 6 starts. This is his first home start since May 21st versus the Dodgers. He's allowing 1 or fewer in 4 of those home starts. In San Francisco, I mean, they're not terrible on the road, 500 on the road, and in the last 10. St. Louis is just 13 and 18 at home, so that's kind of scary also. But I think Flaherty can go the distance, maybe 7 2/3 maybe. And, I mean, Cobb's given 14 earned runs in his last 4 starts. He did have a gem in between those. He gave up no runs in 7 innings against Baltimore. But outside of that, man, I just can't trust either side. I lean to St. Louis. Also like the under. Where do you want to under, Munaf, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, 8.5, I think, was the number for the under.
Yeah, I'll lean under. Maybe a first 5 under. Thinking maybe Cobb pitches well early to start and then gets away from him in the end.
Okay, we'll move on. Once I tell you about Bird Dogs, a new sponsor on the show, and one of those beautiful occasions where I haven't pre-read this, so this could go absolutely anywhere. Fasten your seatbelts. Bird Dogs, what do they do? Well, apparently they've got stretch khaki shorts that make you look good. They're designed to make you look a bit slimmer, Munaf. Get your order in, son. They do the exact same thing as Lululemon, but fit way better. So there you go. Stretches to get a slimmer fit. You don't have to sacrifice your movement. And anti-stink sweat wicking fabric. Get in. Keeps you cool and dry all day long. So if you go to birddogs.com, there was an incredible thread in the work Slack channel today about shorts and the presence or not of the, I don't know what you call it, the netting stuff on the inside. I'm not even sure of the purpose of that. Is that, it's not for hygiene, is it? Just to keep your bollocks where they should be? I'm not a fashion designer, clearly. So yeah, that went on a little bit too long and uncomfortably. We'll get these shorts. They're outstanding. birddogs.com/pool. Enter the promo code POOL for a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/pool for a free Yeti-style tumbler. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you. That was perfect. Okay, 8:05 Eastern is the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Chicago Cubs. Where Luis Ortiz goes for the Pirates and Jameson Taillon is on the bump for Chicago. Plus 125 on Pittsburgh, minus 145 on the Cubs. No total for the usual reasons. Luis Ortiz, 1-2 on the year, 4.23 ERA. He's kind of another piggyback starter. We had Anderson and Crawford in the last game that I took the lead on, and Ortiz is kind of in that same frame again. He has given up quite a lot of walks. In his last 5 starts, over 1.5 walks. So if you can find a cheeky prop, if the bookies have taken their eye off the ball on Ortiz walked. And his whip is high as well. So he's got away with some stuff. But he has left quite a lot of ducks on the pond. Andrew McCutcheon, just for reference, got his 2,000th hit last night. So well done to him. Jameson Taillon here, minus 145. He's got a 7.02 ERA. His ERA in the last 5 games is 7.54. And in the 10 games that he started for the Cubs, the Cubs are 1-9. I don't know what else you meant to do here except back Pittsburgh. You've got no option, in fact. Pittsburgh Pirates have to be the Delonte.
100% agree, man. I think that Pittsburgh is a superior team. He went over the numbers. He's allowed 4 runs in his last 3 home starts. Like in each game, he's allowed 4 runs. He's allowed 24 runs in his last 6 starts. Pittsburgh has won 7 of their last 10. They're 16-14 on the road. The Cubs are 1 game under 500 at home. What they should do is go grab Marcus Stroman's little brother and swap him out for Jameson Taillon. I don't know if you saw that clip of him. He's like 14 or 15 years old, throwing like 95 miles per hour.
Wow.
I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that one?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, man, he's like throwing gas like at 14 or 15. So yeah, they maybe they need him in the lineup versus Taillon. But yeah, man, Pittsburgh or nothing. I don't want to go on and on. It's just pretty simple with me. Pittsburgh is in better form. I like the group. We actually was on there to win the division. I think we got on that live on the show. That's looking good. I think they're in first place right now. Yeah, man, I think it's a game that Pittsburgh stretches his legs and score some runs. So give me Pittsburgh, give me their team total over also.
Yeah, you're right about it being quite straightforward. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of digging around if there's nothing jumps off the page. This jumped off the page pretty quickly. Moon, after you concur with that?
Yeah, Taillon's been a guy that we've been fading over the course of the season. I know that he had gotten off to a good start. It's crazy to think that as bad as he's been, he had really good starts against the Dodgers in back-to-back starts, but since then, it hasn't been very good. You mentioned that the Cubs have lost 9 of his 10 starts. I'll expand that even further. 7 of those 9 losses have come by 2 or more runs. So if you want to go get yourself some more plus odds on the Pirates on the run line once that does drop, I would take a look at that. And especially at home for Jameson Taillon, he is 0-2 with an 8.27 ERA. So it hasn't been very good at Wrigley Field. He's allowed almost 1 earned run per inning that he has pitched. 16 and 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 15 earned runs in that span. So, yeah, it's Pirates here for me as well. Depending on which way the wind is going to be blowing, definitely want to wait for that. But I agree with Lonte what he mentioned about the Pittsburgh Pirates team total. You get all 9 at bats here with the road team.
8:05 Eastern first pitch. The LA Angels and the Texas Rangers. Jaime Barria goes for the Angels, and John Gray draws the start for Texas. Plus 140 on the Angels, minus 160 on Texas, with a total of 9 for Lonte to talk us through.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be honest. Look, I'm high on Texas. I think this should be probably around like 185, 190, to be honest with you. I mean, especially with John Gray on the mound. He's allowed 1 run or less in the last 6 starts. He's pitched 7 strong in 5 of those 6 games, including striking out 12 and allowing 4 hits in his last start. I thought he looked extremely well. Both teams are top 10 in runs scored, but I think that Texas will put a halt to that. And they might could get to the total by themselves. I mean, they struggled offensively on the road against Tampa, but I mean, that's to be expected with Tampa. I think they threw McClanahan and another guy, I can't remember, but it was one of their other aces this weekend. So I expect for them to be a lot better at home, averaging 7.5 runs in their last 11 home games. I mean, I don't trust the Angels on the road. I really don't trust them at home either. If Gray can give me 7 2/3, maybe 8 to limit that bullpen from getting exposed, I think Texas runs away with it here. The 21-9 at home, 25-11 as a favorite. I love Texas in this spot. I would look for them run line, team total over, and the money line also. So big Texas fan tomorrow night.
Okay, Lonte is all over Texas. Munaf? Is Munaf frozen? Is he there?
I think he's frozen.
He's definitely frozen. Okay. I'll say Jaime Barria, I quite like him. He just never lets you down. Like, I feel like I don't see his name in the rotation often enough. He sort of bounces around. But every time I watch him or bet him, it always works out quite well. The Angels are going along a little bit better, although that's normally a cue for them to do something unreliable. They've won 6 of the last 7. Shohei Ohtani has a 15-game on-base streak going. The word I've got next to John Gray's name is immense. He's been absolutely incredible. Well, in 3 of the last 4 games, Texas have scored 3, 3, and 0. They have scored a shit ton of runs this year, as we know, but just a little dip in their offense. The fact I like Barria as well. I'm happy to take this under 9 here. I don't trust the Angels, so I won't be backing them. But I think we can get along with the under behind a half-decent Barria start and Gray being his usual self. Munaf, you froze, but you look like you're moving again.
Yeah, I think my internet is being a little choppy here, but I agree about the under. These 2 pitchers are in great form here. I understand why the total is high, especially with the Rangers, how well they've been batting this season. You take a look at what Jaime Barria has done against the Rangers since 2022, 7 appearances, 1-0 with a I think it was like a 0.6 ERA. He did have 1 start earlier this season. He did very well against them. So we know about John Gray, how well he's been pitching as well. So under 9 for me as well.
Question, Munaf, because you're a Houston Astros kind of guy. Is this Texas thing? Is this a genuine rivalry, sort of in state, or what? Or are you just not even bothered a little bit?
I'm not bothered by it. I think now it may become a rivalry because the Astros or the Rangers are a good team now. But historically, it hasn't been because the Astros, at least over the last several seasons, where the Astros have just been so good. I think Rangers fans make more of a big deal than Astros fans actually do.
No, fair enough. 8:10 Eastern first pitch. The Cincinnati Reds at the Kansas City Royals. Left-handed pitcher Brandon Williamson goes for Cincinnati. And it's Jordan Lyles Day. Happy Jordan Lyles Day, Munaf, and all those who observe. We'll go for Kansas. Even money, plus 100 on the Reds. Minus 120 on the Royals for Jordan Lyles. And a total of 9.5. Munaf, why should we take the Reds here at even money?
Oh boy, Brandon Williamson. I'll start with him here. Let me get back to my page here. Give me a second. Let's see here. So I know I'll start with. I've said this a lot, and we've talked about it on the pod. I've tweeted this out as well. Anytime Jordan Lyles on the mound, you want to bet the Yurfie. I'll start there. I know he didn't cash in his last game against, I believe it was the Marlins, if I'm not mistaken, where the Yurfie didn't cash. But I mean, just take a look at his numbers. There was I think not his last start, but the 2 starts prior to that, Jordan Lyles wasn't too bad in those starts. But again, this Royals team, it's really hit or miss for them. They have a game or a couple games where they look really good, but then there's games where they just aren't. They look like one of the worst teams in the league. I'll say that. Now, if you take a look at Jordan Lyles' game log, the Royals have lost every single one of his starts thus far this season. He's allowed at least 4 earned runs in, I want to say, 9 of the 10 starts. Last start was against the Marlins. He did go 7 innings in that game, guys, but he did allow 5 earned runs in that span. And again, if you take a look at his game log, the last 10 starts going back to April 17th, the Royals have lost every single one of those games. And they've lost 9 of those 10 games by at least 2 earned runs. So again, I'm not going to be betting my money on Jordan Lyles. I am looking at Brandon Williamson in this spot. He is a left-handed pitcher, and I should have this number in front of you as how well or how bad the Royals are against left-handed pitching. I don't know if somebody in the chat can dig that up for us real quick, but Brandon Williamson on the season thus far, he has a 5.40 ERA, hasn't recorded a decision yet. However, the Reds have won 5 of his 6 starts, and a lot of those have come with the run support by the bats of the Cincinnati Reds. So I think this is a perfect storm for the Reds to put up some runs here. Again, they are the road team. You get all 9 at-bats as well, the 9 innings. I will bet the Yurfie again. I think the Reds can get one in the first inning. I would look at a full game team total. If that comes out at 4.5, it might have a little bit of juice on it at minus 125, 130. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think there's another spot where the Reds can put up some runs here against the Jordan Lyles and the Royals. And also their bullpen isn't very good. We've talked a lot about that as well. So runs for me in this game, I think. And if you force me to make a pick here, I would go with the Reds as well.
Lonte, is it the Reds for you?
Yeah, man, Reds are nothing. I mean, Munaf went over all the numbers. I like them on a run line. I like the team total over. If Oakland wasn't just like a little league team, then Kansas City would probably be getting more like pub as far as being horrible. I mean, they are just horrible. 1-9 in their last 10. The Reds are 5-5 in their last 10, but they've been against better competition. They took 2 of 3 against the Dodgers and 2 of 3 on the road against St. Louis. Now, St. Louis, I guess, is kind of a dumpster fire right now, but still impressive for a younger team to go in and win 2 of 3. KC's 9-22 at home. They've allowed 6 runs in their last 9 games, including 6+ in 7 of those. So, man, the Reds team total looks good. And get all the De La Cruz props. Give me all the De La Cruz props you can give me. Everything you got for me.
Yeah, we're going to be running out of time to get on those De La Cruz props because absolutely everybody's on them on a daily basis. They're not going to last much longer. Kansas City, who've now only won 1 more game than Oakland. We're talking about how historically bad Oakland are. And after tonight, they could just be with the same amount of wins. But yeah, you have to take Cincinnati here. Kansas on another 6-game losing streak. Lyles is horrible. And Cincinnati have been great to us over the weekend. And the back end of last week, they've won several games at plus money odds. So I think they earned the right for me to put my few quid on them. That's exactly what I will do. Where we going next? 8:10 Eastern, first pitch. Washington Nationals at the Houston Astros. Left-handed pitcher Patrick Corbin for Washington, and Hunter Brown goes for Houston, who are a -250 favourite. Washington plus 210, sorry, and the total is set at 8. Patrick Corbin 4-6 with a 4.89 ERA. He had a little renaissance a few weeks ago. He had a decent run, but the last 3 have been a little worry. He's regressed back to where he was. Joey Meneses is in good form for Washington if you're looking for a player prop there. 18-game on-base streak for him. Brown's been inconsistent enough for me not to want to take him at this price. I mean, I don't know. There's not going to be many people listening to this who'll be backing a pitcher at -250 anyway. But certainly not Hunter Brown. Houston are hitting 260 against left-handed pitching, which isn't stellar, but it is better. And I think this can go over. Washington have been more than competitive. They can contribute here. But I think Houston will get to Corbin too. And the 8 looks like a number that we can reach quite comfortably with the over, Muna.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you just said there. I do like Astros to score some runs here. I know they're going to be missing Yordan Alvarez, but you got Jose Altuve back. The offense has still been humming along even without him. But historically, Patrick Corbin has struggled against the Astros. He did have one start last season against his Astros team. He gave up 3 home runs in that game, 5 earned runs. I believe it was just 5 innings pitched, if I'm not mistaken. But Hunter, like you mentioned, he has been inconsistent. I do like the case prop that Insano's mentioning for Hunter Brown. Think you do have the better pitcher on the mound. You definitely have the better offense for sure. So I probably look at Astros run line and definitely their team totals to go over, at least in the first 5 for sure. If you get that at 2.5 in the first 5 innings, you have to take the over on that for the Astros.
Lonte?
Yeah, I'm leaning to Washington here. Maybe on the run. Do you have the run line price?
I don't know, not in front of me. Sorry.
Let me see if I can find it.
Get it
I'll save it. I'll save it. But they're 22-9 on the run line on the road. I think Houston was pretty much underwhelming over the weekend. They lost 4 of the last 5. I think they can maybe get to Corbin, but I mean, one of you guys had mentioned, I can't remember which one, but Corbin's he hasn't been horrible as of late. He's been manageable, and I think that's all you need. I mean, Washington's been feisty. I thought they looked good against Atlanta, and despite losing 2 of 3, they outscored them 12-11 in that series. So their bats are live, and if Corbin can just not give up, the big inning, give up 4 or 5 in the inning, 3 or 4, I think they'll be fine here. So I'm leaning to Washington. I'll probably play a little bit on the money line, but my stronger play will be on the over. I agree with both of you guys on the over, and it's something about Washington, man. They're just feisty. I like that they're never out of the game. They're always going to play to the end. I like their bats. So, yeah, man, I'm going to go with Washington here. It does bother me that Houston was kind of underwhelming and they're returning home. So it could be, Washington could be in for a nightmare. But I'm going to lean to Washington, no Yordan. It's a lot to adjust for, and even in a strong lineup Houston has. So give me Washington on the money line and the run line also.
I'll give you -5,000 to Insano had the day off work today, because every game we've introduced, he's hit us with a barrage of top quality stats within about 5 seconds flat. There's no way Captain Insano's done anything today except look at baseball stats and gamble, which I am here for. 9:40 Eastern first pitch is the Cleveland Guardians at the San Diego Padres. We have Tanner Bibby goes for Cleveland, and Joe Musgrove gets the start for San Diego. +140 on Cleveland, -160 on the Padres. Line is at 7.5. Lonte, take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to lean with Cleveland here. I know Musgrove's been good. Lately, he's allowed 1 run or fewer in 4 of his last 5 starts. But I like Beebe. I mean, he's been solid. He's got a 3.5 to 1 K walk ratio. He's right at 3 on his ERA, but he's allowed 2 or fewer in 6 of his last 8 starts. Cleveland was impressive, man. I think they were impressive over the weekend. They had a good series. Their offense has been rolling this past week, double-digit runs in 2 of the last 5 games. and 5+ in 4 of the last 5 games. Both teams are inconsistent. I think San Diego is one of the more inconsistent teams in the league. I mentioned Toronto. They just have so much talent, but just they can't put it together for a consistent stretch. I know they play better as of late, but Cleveland's coming in, good defensive team. I think BB's going to allow them to get out of some stuff if they have some errors or whatever the case may be. So I like Cleveland. I'll take them on the money line, and I'm leaning towards the under. I mean, Cleveland's been an under team all year. I played them under in a lot of games this year, so I think that trend continues here with San Diego being kind of up and down offensively.
Yeah, the under was where I ended up. This to me looks like your classic Cleveland game. Is that they're either going to win 4-1 or they're going to lose 4-1 or something. But any combination of that, I don't care. Cash is just the under 7.5. So that was my thinking on that one, Munaf.
Yeah, I think this is going to turn out to be a pitcher's duel. I know Musgrove, like Lante mentioned, he's been in pretty good form over the last couple starts here, but I just can't get this Padres team right. Anytime I do want to back them, they look like absolute shit, and then the next night they just go out and look like the lineup that we're expecting to see. So I like the value here on the Guardians. I know Tyler Bybee has been really good thus far this season. I think that can carry over to San Diego. If this game was being played on Monday night, I'd probably look at San Diego, but with a day off for the Cleveland Guardians going from East Coast to West Coast, I think that only favors them. So I will take the Guardians here with you guys.
Okie doke. 9:40. Eastern's first pitch is the Tampa Bay Rays at the Oakland Athletics. Officially TBD for Tampa. I reckon it's Yonny Chirinos. We have Hogan Harris, left-handed pitcher, going for Oakland. No pitcher means no lines as usual. Munaf, what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, not much without a pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. But like you mentioned, Hogan Harris is going here for the Oakland A's, and left-handed pitcher. I know Tampa Bay's tops in most statistical category offensively against left-handed pitching. I think this is going to be an opportunity where I know the A's were on a hot streak here or on a winning streak here, but I think that might come back down to earth against the Tampa Bay Rays. I believe these two teams matched up early in the year where the Rays got off to that 10-0 start and they absolutely dominated the A's. So I would look at Rays run line and probably Rays to score some runs here. I think that number is going to be at 5.5 all week, at least till Wednesday when the series is over. So give me the Rays team total overs any which way.
Lonte, could you make a case for Oakland?
No, hell no. No. I will not. Although they did look like an actual MLB team. They did look like an actual MLB team over the weekend, for what it's worth. But yeah, man, I'm looking at Tampa on some run lines, maybe take an alt line with them. I think Oakland comes back down to earth. They've had their moment of glory. Within a 5-game winning streak, or is it 4?
5.
5. Yeah. So yeah, man, I think they'll come back down to earth. Munaf, you mentioned that was my main handicap is they mash lefties, and pretty much they're gonna get to Hogan. They had really good success over the weekend against Texas, so I look for that offense to keep rolling. Their offense does travel. They're one of the better offenses on the road and at home. So I don't think Oakland has a shot here. I would look for that team total over. First 5 also, if you want to take a look at that. They're one of the best first 5 teams in the league. So, I mean, all about Tampa tomorrow night.
Oakland are being blown apart here by you two. 5-game winning streak, average 7 runs per game. They've just completed a sweep. You said, Munaf, that Tampa Bay lead the league in a lot of categories. Oakland have their own league leader here, and this is quite remarkable. Ryan Noda, probably the first time we've mentioned his name this season on the show, leads the American League in OBP with a 410 OBP for the Oakland Athletics, which all think is considered. That's my stat of the day, Munaf. Have you sorted out that stat of the day drop yet?
Not yet. We're working on it.
Not yet. Give it 5 years. I really like Chirinos. He's a load of fun. Hogan Harris is capable, but I do fear for him. I haven't got a number, but I'd probably be taking the over if it's anywhere near 8. I think Oakland can get involved in this. Tampa Bay will probably win. but we can get over the total and find a better price by doing that. Next, 9:40 Eastern first pitch, Philadelphia Phillies at the Arizona Diamondbacks, where Zach Wheeler goes for the Phillies and Zach Davis goes for the Diamondbacks. -145 on Philadelphia, +125 on the D-backs. I haven't got a total for some reason. I reckon I probably just forgot to write it down. If one of you two can shout that up for me. This game, 8.5. Probably the two most informed teams in MLB. Philly have won 7 of 8. Arizona have won 5 straight and 11 of 13. Wheeler, 4-4 in the year, 3.91 ERA. He's got a 7-run start at Washington, sandwiched in between 2 scoreless starts against Detroit and Atlanta. And I think it's safer to say the scoreless starts are the more trustworthy ones, with the 7-run shellacking being a bit of an outlier. Zach Davis has last two been okay, but he's kind of the weak link, I think, in this Arizona rotation. He struggles against the better teams, is what I found going down his game log. And at the minute, Philly are one of those better teams. He's got a 6.75 home ERA. Again, it's sort of fancy price, a little bit like the Mets earlier on that we took. But I'll take Philly here on the money line, -145, Muna.
Yeah, I think the guys are just pointing it out in the chat that it's the ERAs are for both these pitchers and Zach Davis in particular at home, 6.75. I think this is only his 3rd start at home, if I'm not mistaken. He faced the Red Sox and the Dodgers, if I'm not mistaken, did Zach Davies. But and Zach Wheeler also has struggled on the road thus far this year as well. So I think that we're going to see runs in this game. Arizona doesn't give up either. I know they have some they've been able to do their part by scoring runs as well. They're having a really good season thus far. Philly, it looks like they found some of their offense as well. And again, I'm not sure I can trust Zach Wheeler on the road. If this was a home game for him, I would, maybe look towards his direction. I definitely don't be putting money on Zach Davis, especially at home. So I think that we do see runs in this game at over 8.5.
Lonte, what was your reading?
Yeah, I'll expand on the Wheeler thing. So with him is you're either going to get 6 to 7 solid innings, or he's going to get blown up in 3 or 4. It's no in between. I mean, you mentioned the numbers. In his last 5 road starts, it's been 4 runs, 0 runs, 4 runs, 0 runs. And then he gave up 7, as you mentioned. So by that math, I mean, he's due for, I guess, a decent solid outing. So I'm going to lean with Philly here. The offense has been getting going. They've won 7 of the last 10, but they do struggle on the road, 13-22. But like you mentioned, Mel, man, I think that like Davies, he's just been the weakest link in here. I think Philadelphia can get to them. I do lean over. I think both teams are top 10 in hits. Arizona's 4th in runs. If Wheeler can get some control and not give up 2 or 3 2-run innings, then I think they're in good shape. So I think Wheeler would be the better of the Zacks. I do think Arizona's a better team. I'm taking Philadelphia as they're constructed right now just to get that win. And it's just maybe just a play on against Davies and not against Arizona, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's pretty much where my selection came from, Lonte. The penultimate game on the show this evening is a game that is off the board, unfortunately. It's the 9:40 Eastern between the Miami Marlins and the Seattle Mariners. We have a TBD pitcher for Miami. Think it's Edward Cabrera, but nothing else on that. George Kirby will go for Seattle. No lines, unfortunately. Munaf, can you expand?
Only I'll mention is that Edward Cabrera is another pitcher that has significant splits for home starts and then road starts. And I think he's been fantastic at home for the Marlins, and he's been a little underwhelming on the roads thus far this season. So maybe you see runs in this game. I know Captain Extendo pointing out that Kirby has gotten worse each month. I agree with that. Again, with no lines to go off of, I do expect the Mariners to be a significant favorite here. But maybe look at Mariners runs in the first 5 innings over 2.5 if you're able to get that. Maybe a walk prop with Edward Cabrera. I know he's dealt with some command and control issues, but it seems like he's got that under control. But I can't trust them on the road here. I would only look at the Mariners.
Okay, Lonte.
Yeah, so initially I was leaning to the Marlins. I mean, they're hot right now, so I was going to keep riding them. I saw Sandy got it going over the weekend. That was good to see him get a quality start, and I don't think he got presented the win. I think they ended up going to tie the game and then going into extras. But either way, he pitched well. They've won 8 of the last 10. Competition hasn't been the best. They've still been dominant in that stretch, beating teams down. Seattle 3-7 straight up and on run line in the last 10. So basically, if you think Seattle's going to win the game, if you think Seattle's going to cover the run line, they're probably going to win the game. So Miami is 9-1, the last 10 on the run line. So, you got to kind of pick your poison. I was leaning towards the Marlins, but now I was reading about Cabrera's injury. He left with a blister. So that might have to do with some of that control issues that Munaf was speaking on. So it's kind of scaring me off a little bit. If he has control issues, that could lead to walks, easy runs, wild pitches. So I'm kind of staying away from it right now. Kirby's been really solid at home. Outside of giving up 7 to the Pirates on the 26th of March, I was impressed with his 7 scoreless against Texas. That was a real good outing for him. But I don't trust him full-heartedly. But I think I would lean towards the under. Both teams top 12 in runs allowed. It's just that Cabrera thing is kind of a wrench in my handicap because, if he goes, how healthy is he? And if he doesn't, who do they go to? Is it kind of like a bullpen game or what do they do? So I got more questions than I do answers here. So, but if I had to, I go to the under and lean to Miami.
Yeah, that's fair enough, Lunty. I hadn't seen the blister thing when I handicapped Cabrera in this game, so it is a slight fly in the ointment. My handicap of this was pretty straightforward in that Cabrera and Miami are in better form than Kirby and Seattle, so as a combination, I've got no lines, but I'd happily take a punt on Miami on the money line here. Encino pointing out that Kirby's just sort of declining month on month, so happy to take Miami just as the form team. Final game, 10:10 Eastern, first pitch, the Chicago White Sox at the LA Dodgers. Lance Lynn goes for Chicago and Tony Gonsolin for the Dodgers. Plus 170 Chicago, minus 190 Los Angeles, with a total of 8.5 for Lonte to close us out with.
Yeah, man, I'm going with the Dodgers here on the run line. They got 2 of 3 took from them from Philly. They had one good showing. I think that was game 1, if I'm not mistaken, where they played really well. But they played 2 series on the road. They're back home where they're 20-10, 33-22 as a favorite. The White Sox, I don't trust them. 12-21 on the road. They blew a lead last night. I don't think that they will be able to go into Dodger Stadium after what we saw the Dodgers get done to them in Philly and come out with a win. Lance Lynn is kind of up and down. He's gonna yell and look good on the mound for a stretch. At the end of the day, those Dodgers bats are gonna start rolling, and then it'll be a landslide from here. So I like the Dodgers at home. They're 17-13 on run line at home, so that's something to look at. So give the Dodgers on the run line, man. What do you think?
100%. You handicapped it the same as me. Dodgers on the run line. The one extra thing I had to point out was Freddie Freeman's form. In his last 22 games, he's hitting 393. If you want some Freeman props, get involved in that. But yeah, the blown bullpen lead I had as a note, and everything else you pointed out, Lonte. So yeah, I'll just co-sign your handicap completely for a Dodgers run line, Munaf.
Yeah, team right here. Tony Gonsolin at home is automatic bet on the run line for this. I think since 2021 or 2022. I think it's since 2021. 15 home starts at Dodger Stadium. 13-2 straight up. 12-13 wins have come by 2 runs or more. You can get that at plus odds right now on line here. I have a feeling that we might this might be the dog of the day for a lot of us on the pod, but Dodgers run line again. Insano's mentioning it as well. Lynn across the board is subpar to what Tony Gonsolin has been able to do at Dodger Stadium. So Dodgers for me, minus 1.5, plus 110. If you want to be more of a degenerate, take it up to -2.5. Get some even more better plus odds. I think that the Dodgers will absolutely dominate in this game.
Okay, team ride, and it looks like looking in the chat that the entire network fancies Dodgers on the run line. Get some alternative run lines on there as well. That, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is 15 games handicapped and in the book. We've got our lock and dog, our edge boost, double down play of the day. I know Munaf likes to do these on the fly. So Lonte, you can lead us off with your lock and dog, please.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go with two dogs. Actually, I'm gonna go for my lock. I'm going with Baltimore. I mentioned earlier, I think they'll be ready to go. They've had success against Toronto, swept the mid-May, 20-10 in that series. Kramer's been solid at home. I know you mentioned the regression coming for him, but hopefully it's not in this game. So give me Baltimore as the home dog. I think it's really, really good value there. As for my dog, I'm going to go with Cincinnati, man. I mean, it's just simple. You can get it right now. It's dropping. It's went from like 110 to 105 to 103. So catch it right now. You can get even money or a little bit better. Shop around. Won't read off the Jordan Lyles numbers, but they're horrible. Just to save you a trip. I think Cincinnati's a good, fun, young team. De La Cruz has brought some life into him. I'm interested to see you guys. Like when I first seen him, I was like, did they swap? Did Odell Cruz get traded? Because that's who he reminded me of. Like he's long, lanky, swings the bat similar way, extremely fast. I think he's way faster than O'Neal, but like he was about to lap a guy like little league style when he got that. I think somebody hit a double and he was just about to pick the guy up and take him across the plate. So yeah, man, I like Cincinnati as my dog. And I like Baltimore as my lock. Both of those are plus money also. So that's what I'm going with for tomorrow night.
I think the funniest thing I saw with De La Cruz last week was the photo with those sort of college kids that he needed to get the home run ball back from.
Yeah.
Because he looked like a different species to the kids that were in the photo. It was all kind of these little 5'8" white blokes. And Ellie De La Cruz just looked like a different species completely. Like, so if you need to know the difference between him and the rest of us, that photo was the difference. Like, I love that. It was great. Munaf, have you made your picks yet?
Yeah. For my lock, I do like the Mets on the money line, -140, but I'll take it a step further. I'll take it at the -1.5 plus 145 price on the run line. Max Scherzer has been really good at Citi Field. I know they're missing Pete Alonso with a wrist injury, I believe, but Severino has not been very good thus far this season. Over his last four games, 0-1, 5.75 ERA. His last two starts, which came against the Dodgers and the White Sox, he went 9 innings, allowed 15 hits. 6 of those 15 hits were the home run ball. He's allowed 3 home runs in each of the last 2 games against the opposition. So even without Pete Alonso, I think that the Mets can tag him here a little bit. Again, like I mentioned, Max Scherzer has been really good at home thus far this season for the New York Mets. And again, Aaron Judge not in this lineup for the Yankees. We know how much of a dip that the offense takes without him in the lineup. So I'll take the Mets here, -1.5 plus 145 as my lock, and also on the money line, -140. For my dog, it's going to be the Dodgers, -1.5 plus 110. I expect this number to be at a minus price by the time, maybe people are listening to this pod in the morning. But if you're watching live and you're able to find that number right now, I think that it's a good price right now. Like I mentioned, Tony Gonsolin, since 2021, 13-2 at Dodger Stadium. 12 of those 13 wins have come by 2 runs or more. Lance Lynn is going to give it up to his Dodgers lineup. Mookie Betts, you talked about Freddie Freeman, Mal. He's been really good thus far this season for the Dodgers, and I just think that they're going to mash Lance Lynn. So -1.5 plus 110. I guess I'll make that as my lock and then take the bigger dog price, -1.5 on the Mets, plus 145 as my dog.
Everyone's pounded up the double dogs tonight. I didn't get the memo here. I had a couple on my board, and you've both taken options that were in play for me, which I'm quite pleased about. That leads me to believe I'm heading in the right direction. My lock, I'm going to take Philadelphia, -145. Again, it's a fade of Davis, and the fact that Philly are playing really well. Lonte pointed out the fade of Davis was probably the right way to go here. And although Arizona are on fire, I just think this is a bad spot here for. What's Munaf laughing at now? Are you laughing, Munaf?
I'm not laughing. No, I'm not laughing. I'm
just okay. I can just see. Oh wait, sorry. I just. Do you know what? You can see. I just assume you're disparaging me now. That's how I feel.
I didn't say anything. I was listening to you.
Okay, no problem. You should. I think you've got a bit delusional through lack of sleep, Munaf. My dog is Pittsburgh. Has to be. Jameson Tyone has lost 9 of the 10 games they've played. In Pittsburgh, a plus 125 to make it 10 of the last 11. It was fairly straightforward. So Pittsburgh at plus 125 will be my dog. Lonte, we did it. Thank you very much, Lonte. Have you managed to keep up with my accent?
Oh yeah, man. I'm good money. I listen to the show that you're on to prep myself, so I'm good to go. I'm fully prepared. In my homework.
We don't need subtitles or closed captions, anything like that.
Yeah,
Munaf, anything to say before we let the people go?
No, I mean, if you haven't already left us a rating and review, I know we had some come in over the weekend. So if you haven't already, leave us a rating and review. I think we're getting ever so closer to 500 subscribers on the MLB Gambling Podcast YouTube account. So if you haven't already subscribed, if you want to tune in with us, watch us live. Usual suspects are always in the chat. They always make it fun and drop some great gems for us as we're handicapping this game. So shout out to everybody in the chat. And again, we'll be here throughout the week as usual.
Yeah, MVP, Captain Insano tonight. He's pounded out the stats very much in the style. I'm going to pound him this week in the Fantasy Baseball League. So we'll keep you up to date with that. Thanks, everyone. That was loads of fun. Cheers, Lonte. Cheers, Munaf. I enjoyed that. Yeah, good luck with all your bets. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you down the road.